Hi, my name is Laura Mardonis from musicBridge.world. In this two-part video series, I will tell you about why, as an ensemble leader, you want to look into Jamulus as a tool for your ensemble to rehearse. And I will, in the second part of the series, tell you how to get started with it with your ensemble, the onboarding process. And I will also mention how musicBridge.world can help you along the way if you run into any kind of stumbling blocks along the way. My Jamulus credentials begin in April 2020 when I installed the program for the first time. I have been a member of the management team since April of the Jamulus World Jam Facebook community and the World Jam crew producing a live show every Saturday. I was also a founding member of the Jamulus Chambers Choir and the Jamulus Big Band in Sweden. And I'm also the project manager behind Project Rose, a project that aims at informing and getting barber shoppers started on Jamulus worldwide. Why should you, as an ensemble leader, want to get started and invest time and effort getting your ensemble using Jamulus? For me, the answer is simple. Ensembles are losing members. Organizations, for musical organizations and for choral singers, we're losing members on a daily basis because, quite frankly, Zoom rehearsals aren't enough. We can't actually sing or play music together in real time using those systems. And so people get tired of waiting and waiting for solutions that never come. And I think that's a shame because there is a solution and it's been here all along. Now, if you think that was the stick, let me show you the carrot. Because I don't think that Jamulus is a tool for only now at this moment in time. I think that Jamulus is going to be a very important part of your toolbox as an ensemble and as a musical leader. I believe that ensembles that regularly rehearse both physically when we're able to and digitally using Jamulus are going to be better for it. They'll be able to develop more their skills. As a singer, I noticed that my intonation has to improve because suddenly I'm hearing so many more details in what I'm producing that I couldn't really hear before when I was standing in the middle of a choir. As an ensemble leader, I'm also quite sure you'll enjoy the fact that every member of your ensemble are going to have to take more responsibility for their own music production here. They can't no longer rely on visual cues or listening at their other members of their ensemble for when to do something. They have to sort of get in the driver's seats because the consequence of not doing this when you're using Jamulus is that slowly your entire piece is going to go slower and slower and slower and slower because there's always going to be a teensy tiny bit of latency if you're the least a bit away from each other. Unless you have the luck of being concentrated around a server that's close to you and you have very low ping and overall latency. Still, this is Jamulus is doing a really good job of overcoming latency. But if your distance is apart, this is going to help you get better at keeping the beat and listening for that driving tempo. So, what happens as a performer and as a musician when you're using Jamulus is that you're basically growing your ears. You're honing your listening skills, which I think any ensemble leader is gonna appreciate. As a musical director, there are some added benefits of using Jamulus because you're not going to have to cancel a Jamulus rehearsal due to bad weather or bad traffic or because somebody's on the road that particular rehearsal evening. It's just a matter of having an internet connection and your computer and you're able to participate in the rehearsals. As an ensemble leader, you might also appreciate the fact that you can single out voices or groups of people and listen to them in particular. This is going to make it so much easier to give personal feedback to your ensemble members. It's also going to make your sectionals that more smooth because you will be able to have everybody keep on playing where then you as a leader will be able to just listen to that particular section or just have them with more volume in the mix and still hear them together with everybody else. So your sectionals are going to be a little bit more efficient. And if you still want them to go their separate ways for sectionals, you'll definitely get rid of that bottleneck and in the door where everybody has to pass through the same point and there's a big lineup and then everybody has to go to the separate rooms. The changeover times are much quicker using Jamulus. So if you're looking at the big queue and the large amount of people, the next question is inevitably going to be, but will this work for large ensembles? Yes. You can fit as many as 100 people into one server, and if you have a larger ensemble than that, it's a pretty simple thing to link them up together and maybe divide them up by sections and putting monitors and streamers in each of the servers, and you can listen and hear each other. It's quite simple to do. All you have to have is a little bit of server management and tech knowledge. So it's quite doable. As an individual, it's quite easy to get started with Jamulus, and the advantages obviously is that you can then participate in any rehearsal from the comfort of your home. In these times, I think it's even more important to point out that you can participate from the safety of your home. But also imagine not to have to spend all that time traveling back and forth to a rehearsal, lugging a lot of equipment around in some cases, or just saving the money for transportation or saving the environment. There are a lot of advantages to having a Jamulus rehearsal. If you're a distributed group, remember I mentioned the latency, that becomes a factor the further away you are from each other internet-wise. That doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means that you have to learn how to work with latency. Again, as I mentioned, keeping the tempo is really the key here, and stay in the driver's seats and listen to the one particular part that is the driver of the piece of music. If you're in a rock band, it's quite simple. Follow the drummer. The advantages are pretty much the same in this case because, hey, you don't have to travel. You get to rehearse much more often. Therefore, you're saving time, you're saving money, and you're saving the environment. What's not to love? This also means that for coaches, Jamulus is becoming a super interesting tool because the more ensembles getting on Jamulus, the more opportunities these ensembles have to contract with coaches that otherwise would not have been within the reach. It's going to be super easy to get that coach from across the world to just be a guest on your rehearsal and guide your ensemble through it without even having to leave the comfort of their own home. You will be again saving on travel, saving tons of money, and saving the environment from all that pollution. Oh, don't you see the advantages here, people? The carrot is much larger than the stick, okay? So, in the next installment of this video series, I'm going to talk you through the different steps and what you need to do to get your ensemble onboarded to get working with Jamulus as a tool. My name is Laura Mardonis from musicBridge.world. I'll see you in my next part.